No.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another Cross Console Hangout. This week, I'm joined by two new people. Jetpat Franco. I love that first name. Is that a family name?
Yes, it's been passed down through the generations. I decided to leave out the, Roman numerals that come after it. So
Oh, okay.
that's like pretentious or whatever. So, no. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, man. You're up in the big Alaska.
Yes.
Sarah Palin live next to you. Can you see Russia from where you're at?
Pretty much. I'm looking at it right now,
Yeah.
and it is looking a lot less free. That
And
might have been rude.
well, a little political humor never hurt anybody. And we're also joined by one Sir Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. You're like John B., which probably neither one of y'all know who that was, but he was a R&B recording artist in the '90s. I think he had like one hit.
No, I know Johnny B. Good, but that's about it, I think.
Yeah. And you, sir, are in the great state of Texas.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So this week we wanted to talk about the new Marvel movie that's just recently come out last weekend, Guardians of the Galaxy. We will try and keep it as spoiler-free as we can.
Everyone dies. Everyone.
Yes.
The galaxy.
Well, and thank you for coming to this week's episode of The Hangout. Plus, if you haven't seen it already, what's wrong with you? I mean, come on. It's a Marvel movie.
You need to stop what you're doing right now and go watch it.
You're supposed to have already seen it twice. So for those of you that haven't seen it or not familiar with the Guardians, they are a group of space outlaws, basically a whole team of Han Solos and Chewies, kind of led by Peter Quill, who was a Terran who.
Wait!
What?
Hold up. Is Gamora a Han Solo or a Chewie?
Touche.
Han Baka.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, it sounded good. And the story in the new movie deals heavily with an Infinity Stone, which is kind of something that's been going on throughout the Marvel movies. The Phase 1 kind of dealt with the Tesseract, which is a Infinity Stone, and then Thor 2, is it called the Aether or the Ether?
Yeah.
Thor 2? Yeah, that's also kind of an Infinity Stone. They bring it to the Collector.
Aether is something from Final Fantasy. Fire Emblem. So, yeah.
Oh. I've actually finally played a Fire Emblem. I played the new one on 3DS.
Yep.
It was amazing.
I still know nothing about Fire Emblem, having played all of the Super Smash Brothers, and now seeing that there's like a billion Fire Emblem characters in the next game. I'm still very confused as to
the new one's cool because, and we're getting off track, but whatever. The new one's cool because you can have friendships and relationships build with characters. And then there'll be certain parts in the game where you meet these characters that have traveled through this time portal, and depending on your relationships, they could be if you and this character end up getting married, it could be your child.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Twist.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, I actually don't want to marry you. You're pretty dang ugly, and I don't want to bring you into the world.
So then you start over. But no, so we've all seen Guardians.
Yes.
Austin, I'll start with you. What did you think?
Man, I mean, I pretty much, I have a review up. I did the review for Geeks Under Grace on our website, geeksundergrace.com, and it was honestly my favorite Marvel movie I've seen. I'm big into comedy kind of stuff, but most of the comedy out there right now is really it's just like one sex joke after another. So it was nice to have something a little more refreshing and more with the
Yeah,
comedy.
see, like I don't know if you saw it, but I went and saw Neighbors. Kind of like I feel like a comedy, and there was nothing out at the time, and I didn't like that movie. Like several
Yeah,
people I know went and saw it was like, "Oh man, that movie was hilarious." I was like, but "It's." I think I'm getting to the point where I just don't like that style. Now I liked 22 Jump Street because I don't think it was really vulgar in the sexual way like Neighbors was. But yeah, it was nice to see a movie that have like real comedy in it.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I adored that movie. I thought it was so great. The soundtrack, man, the music at this track blew me away. I was just like, oh my gosh, you got all like the perfect '70s songs here, and like, and the actors played off the music too, and all the dialogue. It was just really, really, really well done. So.
And Mr. Franco, what about you?
I mean, I'm gonna echo his echo and just say that it was a great movie. Um, uh, sorry. So I was speaking of the music, I was really surprised how well the music worked with just the space atmosphere. I was kind of, looking at the soundtrack beforehand, I was a little suspicious about how, and just curious how well the music would actually fit in, or if it would just feel uncomfortable, or like, wow, they're really forcing this. But I thought the music just turned out great and really complemented what they were doing. I thought the animation was great. Like Rocket was just so good, and his fur looked so real, and his
Yeah.
expressions and everything. I don't think at one point, I think the only thing that really took me out of the movie was the fact that I was like, wow, this is so good. Like, whoever animated this is awesome, but none of it seemed like, wow, this is fake, or, this
Yeah.
looks dumb.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll say this. I did really enjoy just the environment that they made. Like, when they go to nowhere, and just a kind of like the dirty metal, and everything just looks so well worn, and everything it was just great textures. It was great. Just the environment, the acting was great. I thought it was really funny. I would agree and say that it was probably my favorite Marvel movie so far as well. Just overall great package.
Yeah, it like for me as each one comes out, it almost seems like, oh, that was my new favorite Marvel movie. Because I even said that with Captain America, but I
Oh, right.
didn't go 2 days later and go see Captain America again. Like I've already seen Guardians twice.
Nice.
Yeah, with IMAX 3D on like the Thursday night, and then after church yesterday. Um, the soundtrack, yeah, just like y'all said, just to echo your echo of an echo. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
it reminded me a little bit of like
Does sorry,
heavy
like it
metal.
cut out for me.
Oh,
I was gonna ask, does Google translate Christianese or no? Like, because otherwise we might have some problems.
uh, yeah, and I was I now I'm off track. Trying to think of that. But yeah, no, the soundtrack, like, and there's also rarely where a soundtrack was so great that I also went and like bought it and have been listening to it like since then. I've done that with this one,
Yeah.
and it's even made me sit down and think, okay, if I was to make my own Awesome Mix Volume 1, that would be the soundtrack to the movie of my life, what songs would I want to put in? And it's been decades since I've made, or no, I wouldn't say decades. I'm trying to age myself there.
How old are you?
32. So it's been a really long time since I have made a mixtape.
Touche. Did you actually make a mixed cassette tape?
No, I don't have those ancient archaic devices anymore. Yeah, it's been at least 15 years because I remember back in the Napster days would like download songs. Yes, I used Napster.
Oh, I did.
And then the like sound bites from like different movies and stuff. I would put those in between the songs. So yeah, that I mean I haven't done that with the mix that I'm working on. It's just music. But yeah, in the comedy, I think probably one of my it's so hard to narrow down like your favorite comedic bit. Like I think this Footloose thing was awesome.
That was Kevin Bacon and all of that.
But I think what probably threw me off a little bit at first was because Guardians is a great. Like I've always been a big Marvel guy, but I was always big Spider-Man, Avengers, and X-Men growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So I never read Guardians, so I didn't really know much about these characters. So like I didn't know that Drax's people takes everything literal. And so when they're in the prison, and he's like, nothing goes over my head. My reflexes just no. It's the don't you dare call me a thesaurus. Like it took me a couple seconds to catch the joke.
Yeah.
and so, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so as an aside, so I didn't really know who Guardians of the Galaxy were when they announced that they were going to make this movie, but shortly thereafter they started coming out with the newest volume of Guardians of the Galaxy comics, which followed this current cast of characters. And so what's interesting, just a side note, is that Drax in the movie was changed a little bit. Like in the movie, he is an alien from another planet. His people don't understand metaphors, etc. In the comics, his backstory is like completely different. He was actually from Earth, but his family, this was the same. His family was murdered, granted in the comics by Thanos, not Ronan the Accuser. And he was also murdered along with them. And so, long story short, one of Thanos' relatives ended up resurrecting his soul, and they wanted to create this being whose sole purpose was the destruction of Thanos. And so they decided to put his soul into this body in order to like animate him. So he's actually from Earth. He was a real estate agent. His name was Arthur Douglas. But so they changed that. But I would say that I liked the changes they made.
Yeah, and that was something else. I did know that in the comics he is a little more powerful than what he was how he was in the comics. But which is fine. Like I think that casting, as Dave Bautista, like I was a little like, he's a wrestler. They're not really known for their great acting abilities.
Come on, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, that's one.
Oh gosh. No.
He will get that. He will get that Oscar. You just wait.
He'll get an Oscar when Leonardo DiCaprio does. Okay.
No, that'd be great if he gets one beforehand.
That was a burn for a lot of people that you just made.
Oh my god.
I will say I'm really surprised. A lot of my friends, having watched the movie, their favorite character was Drax, which I was really surprised. I was not expecting that outcome. A lot of people liked Dave Bautista. And I think he did. I was surprised at how well he did.
Yeah, because like the only other movie I watched him in was Man with the Iron Fist, and he wasn't bad, but he didn't really have a lot of speaking parts. Like he was basically just a big muscle beating things up.
Yeah.
Something I actually didn't know till like right before the movie. What's Gamora's sister's name? I always forget her name.
Nebula.
That's Karen Gillian.
Yeah, from Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and then I got online and was looking, and she had shaved her head for the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, "What? You're still hot though."
Okay, that makes sense though, because like I saw her at what's it called? I saw her at a sci-fi expo recently, and her hair was really, really short. I was like, "What the heck did you do to yourself?" I was like, you were gorgeous. I mean, you're still gorgeous, but you were gorgeous, and like I was like, and you still have a Scottish accent though. So I mean, I'm still following you around, but
Stalking you from afar.
I mean, I wasn't that. I'm not. I've never seen Doctor. Like I watched 2 episodes because I had a friend make me watch it, but I was never that into it. So, but anyways, Guardians. The one thing I do want to say, you guys were talking about things that maybe some problems that you guys may have had with it, maybe some changes that they made. One big thing that I did, like, and just without too many spoilers, there's like Gamora has like a change through the movie, and I didn't really understand it so much, like her backstory. I didn't think they had her backstory down very well, because like they say that what's his face, Ronan the Destroyer, Ronan killed her family or something like that, but she was still following him around all this time, killing people, and then all of a sudden there's this one small thing that like, oh, I can't go that far, can't go that. I was like, okay, well, I think you've probably been doing stuff like that. And I didn't get that. I mean.
that is, I can definitely agree with that. I think when I was doing just research more, because I've pretty much only read the most up-to-date volume of Guardians of the Galaxy. Actually, if you go today, before 11 p.m., if you go to Marvel.com and you go to their store, you can actually buy the second volume for like
I think
$3 or something.
It's
and
like
they have
$25 or $23 for the 20-something issues.
Yes,
and that's correct. The 2008 to 2010 storyline.
Right, and I had not read that, but actually I purchased that bundle because I was curious about. A lot of people recommend that as if you are looking into getting into Guardians of the Galaxy, they recommend jumping into the 2008 run for whatever reason, and so I haven't read it, so I started reading it. But anyway, while I was doing some research on the characters, that was kind of the explanation of Gamora that I had gotten to some degree, but it was a little more intensified because Thanos had trained her to be this assassin. She's killed, so many people, I'm sure. Like, I don't know if they ever give a number or an idea, but I mean, she's killed a lot of people. But in the comics, the thing that makes her change is she uncovers that Thanos has a plan to destroy the universe, like the entire universe, and so she like is like, hey, this doesn't sound good. So it is to a lesser degree harder to believe that just Ronan wanting to destroy a planet does not seem as like, oh well, that I'm sure she's probably killed,
a planet or something. One thing initially that I didn't like is I didn't like how the Nova Corps was more of a just police state and not like how they're in the comics where they have powers. But I think like the second time I watched it, it's not as bad, and I think that might be a better way to like if they do introduce, was it Robert Ryder?
Richard Ryder?
Richard Ryder, yeah, that they might actually have where it's like there is an elite group of Nova Corps who have the powers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind it as much the second time. I still think some of their casting was a little weird, like John C. Reilly.
It does seem though they were trying to go for that like cameo power, like with Glenn Close being in there and.
Well, I finally realized who Nathan Fillion was.
Yes.
He was the big blue guy that came up and was like, I'm going to slather you in honey, or whatever he said to Peter Quill.
In jail.
Yeah, that was Nathan. At first I was thinking he was the guy that took the headset.
Yeah.
I was looking online earlier, and it was, because I was like, man, Nathan Fillion's a pretty big dude. But
I would really love if he got a major character.
Like everybody wants him to be Richard Ryder.
Yeah. I could also see him being Doctor Strange.
Well, yeah, but I think the big rumor right now is
Disagree from Austin. I can see.
not not Joaquin Phoenix. What's the
Right.
guy that?
Joaquin Phoenix?
I just can't see Fillion pulling off the facial hair for Strange. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix is rumored to. I don't know if any of that's changed.
Yeah.
But he's the one that's been. I would love if this movie would have been like 5, 8 years ago. Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
I think he would have been a pretty good Doctor Strange. But okay, so I guess this could be a spoiler if you haven't seen this, because this is, well, I mean, Marvel has also revealed the image online, but the Thanos thing in the movie.
His appearance?
Yes.
Oh.
Because I didn't know how to say it without trying to spoil it.
Sorry, did I just make that spoiler worse, or?
No, I mean, because like I said, Marvel revealed it, so you know.
Oh, that's true.
Seeing that made me think that maybe that was why when they was throwing around Josh Brolin's name for Batman, he came out and said he didn't want to take it. He didn't like the script.
Oh,
Because you have to think that movie, like Guardians, was done filming like last year. That was around the same time that stuff started leaking, or rumors of him being approached for Batman. So it's like, yeah, he probably had already signed like a contract and was like, yeah, y'all suck. I can't, you know.
Wait, so he played Thanos?
Yeah, that was Josh Brolin.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and
that makes sense.
Like you could hear in the voice a little bit, and I thought it was cool in the facial features, like they made him look like him. But I thought that was cool. Like his armor was a little Thor looking. You know, it was that like same space age.
Well, he's a Titan, so.
Yeah. But like just the look, like there was several sites that had a comparison of like Thanos in the comic setting on his throne, and it was like the same look. So I'm excited to finally have a full-on battle like Thanos movies with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
So with that, you know, they've already greenlit Guardians 2, and there was an article I saw the other day, and come to find out, Franco, you had said something earlier about it was just like DeviantArt pictures that people had found. So there's no, except for like the first couple of movies, there's no real in concrete about these. But there's an article that lists like through 2019 the potential Marvel movies. And what kind of caught my eye is the Guardians one. The next one it's in there. It's Guardians of the Galaxy: War of the Kings. And so I was looking up the story. I was like, well, you know, this actually could fit for being a sequel to Guardians, because the War of the Kings storyline deals with Peter Quill's father, and one of the characters that's in that story arc has an Infinity Stone like embedded in his forehead.
That sounds painful.
Well, one of the like ancient, kind of like how Peter, you know, you find out he's half. I forget the species.
I mean, still, I wouldn't want a stone in my head. But
yeah.
Whatever floats his boat. So.
Probably have a headache at all times.
I know. It's like, is his name Goliath?
I actually watched a cool TED Talk video about David and Goliath the other day.
It's cool. Oh my gosh! Now every time I read that, I'm like gonna be thinking of David and his 5 Infinity Stones.
Yeah, that's what. Oh my goodness! Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 6 Infinity Stones. I was fixing. David did have the Infinity Stones. That's how he beat Goliath. Oh, and then I was reading some cool Easter eggs. Because I was wondering, like, why at the end, it was like, I've got a plan. How much of a plan do you have? I don't know, like 12%? That's actually a quote from in Avengers. When Agent Coulson comes to see Tony Stark, there's something that they ask him, and he says something about like 12% of a plan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Right.
and then like in the collector's little chamber, you can clearly see a dark elf. And the dog. A lot of people who, when you watch it, might just get a laugh at, oh, it's one of the Russian dogs. But that character actually in the Guardians comics eventually becomes chief of security at Nowhere, and the dog somehow gains the ability to talk.
And he also inexplicably has telepathy and telekinesis as well.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So that's cool.
Have you heard about the whole Adam Warlock thing?
No, because I know he's in that 2008 run of Guardians, because I've read the first issue.
Yes. So, there are two things. So for one, at the end of Thor 2, when we go to the Collector, Sif goes to the Collector and gives him the ether, right?
Yeah.
And so as she's like walking through, we see that there is. I honestly didn't know what this was beforehand, so I mean I'm saying this as if I knew. But there is this tomb-looking thing, like almost like a mummy tomb. But it's like yellowish and has lines running across. That was actually a reference to the character Adam Warlock, who was in this cocoon-looking thing before he like came out of it. Anyway, so spoiler. So we see that in Thor 2. At the end of this movie, spoiler alert. At the very, very end. Kind of, there was the after credit scene is seen more of just like a humorous deal.
Oh, I have to talk about the second time I saw the reactions to the crowd in that scene.
Oh, right. Okay, well, we'll get to that. So, this surprise character is like, sitting up front. But actually, if you look kind of behind him, the cocoon or tomb that was in Thor 2 is actually like open. And it's just kind of out in the back. I guess it opened maybe when the building exploded or whatever. But so that's what I suppose that's a subtle hint that we'll probably be seeing Adam Warlock in the future somewhere, whether that's in the next Guardians movie or elsewhere.
So yeah, everybody, true Marvel movie fans know to stay after credits. So, watching it the second time, the first time had the reaction that I figured. It was kind of laughed. Most people knew who the character was that shows up. But the second time I was watching it, it's just mom and pops, people taking their kids to it. And when that comes on, they're like, "What in the world? Who is that?" For those of you who don't know, Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know who Howard the Duck is, Google worst movies ever made.
I want to take this. Okay. So Howard the Duck. Okay. So he's basically really retarded. He's a duck. Okay. Dimension Duck World. And in Duck World, it's basically like Earth, except they're all ducks. They wear clothes. They wear like clothes like humans, drive cars like humans, everything. He can't fly, right, because he's a duck. But the only powers that he has is that, like, he's very sarcastic, if that can count as a power. He knows quack fu. He's a practitioner of quack fu, which is, I don't even want to explain that. It's a thing. And at times, he can use magic, because Doctor Strange taught him some stuff for some reason. He's like, I'm going to use a duck and magic, because that makes sense. But I guess if you've got a talking duck, I mean, what the heck? I mean, go ahead, go for it. But yeah, and then there was a movie made in the 90s?
No, I think it was 86 or 88. It was George Lucas produced. Yeah, if you Google like worst movies ever made, it's probably like 5 on that list. Uh, so yeah, I found it funny and fitting with like James Gunn's kind of humor, and I was like, yeah, of course, leave it to that guy to put this as the after credit scene, not some like picture of scene of Tony Stark making Ultron or something. Uh, oh, and I didn't know it was Seth Green voicing Howard the
Mhm.
Duck.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
Okay.
Howard.
So we pretty much, we've all talked about what we thought of Guardians. We liked it. So what I want to ask next, this will be kind of in closing. What Marvel character would you like to see be introduced next in a movie?
One more thing about Howard
Okay.
really fast. Like no, like you were just giving the audience reactions. And mine had a kind of funny one. I was at the very first showing, um, at where I live, like at 6 in the afternoon, and so like we're in this huge thing, and for some reason everyone just like everyone knew who it was. Everyone just goes like completely silent when they see it. And then there's this one dude in the middle that just yells out, "Howard the Duck!" and everyone just busts out loud. It was so stupid. But yes,
Yeah,
okay.
my first showing, I had some guys that that throughout the whole movie kept giving their little comedic commentary.
Oh gosh.
And if I wouldn't go to prison, I would have stabbed him in the throat. But
I always have the worst luck of people talking during movies, or I had someone one time like make a sandwich in the middle of the movie, and they had like a bag of like
wait.
mayonnaise, and it was I was just like, what is happening? Where am I right now? But
I've only been to a movie one time with a group. It was actually a group from the church I go with. We went and saw that terrible Alice in Wonderland movie. And yeah, they're like bringing their big duffel bag purses and bringing out like full bags of chocolate candy, and I was like, does somebody have milk in one of those purses? Uh,
I actually like that movie. But anyways, JP, you want to hit on you want to hit on the characters that you want to see in the upcoming Marvel movies?
That is a tough question. I mean, so to preface this, I like my initial reaction is because I love out of all of the Marvel properties, I love X-Men, and I kind of feel like, granted, I enjoyed the last movie a lot. I feel like Fox kind of drops the ball a little bit on most of the X-Men movies. So part of me would love for Fox to just fail miserably and then Marvel buy back X-Men, and then somehow they're all reincorporated into this thing, because this would be awesome, and I would love to see like this amazing. I would love to see an Avengers movie with Wolverine in it or something. That would just be fantastic. But man,
well, while you think so, I'll touch
Yeah.
on. I think Marvel is trying to do something as far as forcing Fox's hands, because like this year is the 75th anniversary of Marvel. There
Right.
is no X-Men stuff in any of the promotionals,
yeah,
and no Fantastic Four stuff.
yeah, that's
They're actually
right.
about to cancel Fantastic Four.
The movie?
No,
Or do you mean
comic series for
Oh.
at least for a while. So I have a feeling Marvel is trying to push Fox's hand by not giving them like free publicity
Yeah.
with these characters. I wouldn't be surprised if you might end up actually seeing Spider-Man, because in Avengers 1 there was actually almost in the skyline was going to be Oscorp Tower. The deal, by the time the deal was finalized, it was already they'd already finished that part of the graphics. And so there seems to be a little friendlier now. I think Sony's about to heavily screw up Spider-Man with all these side movies that they're coming out with.
Right.
With Sinister Six and a Venom movie, and now they just announced a female lead movie. So
Black Cat. It's gonna be Black Cat.
Yeah, so it could only be Black Cat, because I don't think they have the rights to like Spider-Woman, because she's an Avenger.
Right.
So, but yeah. Anyways, back to
or a Mary Jane romance movie.
yeah. Which they're gonna have to recast Mary Jane for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Because the girl that was in 2, she originally was going to be in 2, they cut her out, and then now scheduling conflict has made her not to be Mary Jane.
Okay, I wouldn't want her to be Mary Jane.
Well, actually, you know what? I
Spider-Man
liked the chick they hired. I think she
Shailene
was
Woodley?
the one that's in Divergent.
Yeah, Shailene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of her movies. I haven't seen Divergent, but compared to the last Mary Jane, she was a better cast.
Well, yeah, but I mean, anything's better than Kristen Dunst.
Yeah.
Zing.
So you know what? I'll go by because I've recently got to where I've started reading this character and actually like it. It was actually back in Civil War when I first started reading this character, and then picked it back up when she took on the mantle of Captain Marvel. It used to be Miss Marvel, Jane Danvers. I always mess up her last name, or Joan. Yeah, whatever. I forget her real name. But I would like to see that. I would like it to be either Katie Sackhoff or Yvonne Strahovski.
Oh, right.
Play her
From Chuck.
Yeah, from Chuck. I think Katie could pull off the more because she has, she's already played like a fighter pilot technically in Battlestar Galactica, and that's where Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel. That's where her background is. She was an Air Force pilot. That's who I would like to see the most because
Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers. Yeah,
there we go.
Jane or whatever I said.
Joan.
Yeah, Joan Calabezzo.
Something doesn't sound right.
Yeah, that's her evil twin, Joan Danvers.
Spoilers.
Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
Please no. We don't want Joan Rivers.
That would be amazing. Joan Rivers as Captain Marvel.
No, Joan Rivers playing Deadpool. I could see that.
Oh, rude.
Or Miss Deadpool. What? No, Lady Deadpool. Is that what
or just put her in DC and make her play Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or,
that's mean to Harley Quinn.
What's the Miss Grandma on Apocalypse? What's her name? The one that
I don't know.
Talks like a dude, or is always voiced by a male character.
I don't know.
Granny something.
Granny Rags.
I don't know. Maybe I've never been much of a DC guy.
Sorry. I'm thinking of Dishonored.
Okay, so I think I've narrowed it down to either 2 properties. So one is more reasonable and kind of based on that the logos, the fan-made logos page. They had the Inhumans on there. I think it would be great to see Black Bolt, who's the leader of the Inhumans. I think that would be great to see that. And that could be something that they go into. I mean, they are to summarize them, I mean, they are kind of like mutants, and that would be another way to bring kind of mutants maybe into the Marvel universe, not unlike how they've done with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in the next Avengers movie. But the next, so I would love to see Black Bolt. I think he's pretty awesome. Granted, the only thing he would have to be almost more of a supporting character because he doesn't really speak. He just kind of sometimes he uses telepathy.
Yeah, because when he talks, doesn't it like blow things up or something?
Yeah. I mean, even if he like whispers, it's like things just explode, and so he wouldn't be he probably wouldn't be the main character. But there was a few years ago, before maybe when Iron Man 1 came out, they announced that they were going to make a Runaways movie.
I remember.
And then I remember even reading that they had started holding auditions and trying to cast characters, but they just never went along with it. And I think maybe this might be an after Phase 3 kind of movie. But Runaways is just great. It's really funny. It's more comedic. Granted, it's probably aimed more towards a younger crowd, like high schoolish type crowd, because they're all kids the Runaways are kids who find out that all their parents are supervillains, And so they using the gifts that their parents have given them, try to like fight them and all that kind of stuff. I read it just kind of in passing and really enjoyed it. I thought it was really funny, and I enjoyed all the, pop culture references and all that kind of stuff. So I could see that being kind of, now that they've done, seeing how well they did humor with Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm pretty confident that they could make Runaways and it be an actual funny movie and it not just be, like, haha, teen comedy, like this is only remotely funny and just kind of, kid humor or whatever. I think it'd be, I'd go see it.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, for me, since I've had some time to think now, I have it narrowed down to 2 as well. Okay, my first one would have to be, like, I mean, did either of you guys see the leaked test footage of the Deadpool movie?
Yes.
Yes, oh my gosh, I want to, like, I saw that, I was like, Ryan Reynolds, oh my gosh, you did this perfectly, it made me so happy. Like, I mean, obviously, like, the medical language, and I wasn't really happy about it, but I don't know, like, it made me laugh so much, like with him sitting on the bridge listening to Holla Back Girl. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
That was pretty funny.
And then my second one would have to be Gambit. I want to see a lot more of Gambit after Gambit got screwed over.
Well, you heard they've cast Gambit for Age of Apocalypse.
Well, and he's going to get his own movie.
Yes,
oh, okay.
I've heard some rumors about that, but I didn't know anything was.
Channing Tatum.
I can see Tatum doing it, actually. I can see him.
Yeah.
I can see him.
He was actually somebody who I've not liked until I watched the Jump Street movies.
Yeah. I can see Tatum doing it. I want someone to, like, bring Tatum to Louisiana and show him, hey, this is Louisiana, and then bring him to Texas and say, hey, this is how people talk in Texas. It's not the same thing, okay? Do not do what happened in Wolverine Origins, please.
Well, see, it was good after the last X-Men movie. That movie didn't happen, so.
Yeah. I was really happy about that.
Supposedly, because I read in an interview, supposedly he's Cajun or something.
Yes,
or maybe
he's Cajun. He's Cajun.
Yeah, so hopefully he will be educated.
He's not country. He's not country. He's like, they had him talking with a country accent, not speaking any sort of French, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing?
Now, I don't know if you guys have heard this. This is something that I've been dying for in the past week or so, since Comic-Con. But at Comic-Con, the Marvel panel, they showed a preview or a little teaser trailer for Age of Ultron. And the description of it / someone has uploaded the audio of the video. I guess that someone had like their microphone going, and so you can hear it. It sounds awesome. And like someone wrote out like a full description, like scene by scene of what's happening, and it's like it starts off with all the Avengers, and they're just like lounging around, and they start trying to pick up Thor's hammer and trying to see like who could be worthy or whatever, and they're just kind of joking, and then things just escalate, and Ultron appears and just says some really ominous stuff. Anyway, the description of what's on screen is amazing, and no one has uploaded a video of it, and I'm sure there's someone out there who has like, just had their camera like right here, like trying to film it, like hiding their camera.
Yeah, because honestly, like if they're the same as tight as, because I actually went to San Diego, the Comic-Con, like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and I was at a Capcom panel, and it was right before DMC Devil May Cry was out, and I'm sitting in the back row with my phone, like, and this lady comes by, sir, you can't film. Oh, I'm sorry, and I just cut off the film. She didn't tell me to delete it or anything. I don't know if there is a strict in Hall H stuff, but so.
I've heard that it was pretty strict based on what people are saying on Reddit, but the thing is that, I mean, people leaked footage from Batman vs Superman, so I'm hoping that there's someone out there who recorded it and will hopefully post it online because I've been checking every day, every day.
I can't wait to see how that movie's going to do. The fact that they are not moving the release date.
Oh,
it's coming.
That's the same weekend, right?
It's coming out the same weekend as Captain America 3.
Oh.
Okay, so which ones are you guys going to go see? I'm going to go see Batman vs Superman.
I'm going to see Captain America.
I will go see Captain America.
Yeah, I'm a Marvel. I'm a Marvel zombie. I mean, I grew up reading Marvel more. I watched some of the DC cartoons. Never really got into the comics.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll see both, honestly,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna see both too, but what I'm probably gonna do honestly is just buy tickets for both and just go the entire night. Oh yeah.
I'm sure there will be a lot of theaters who will try to have like double features because that would be smart.
Yes.
That would be smart of them to do that.
So with all that, that's pretty much all we've talked about, or all I really wanted to touch on. You can check us out. Our articles, like you said, Austin, you wrote the review, and I'll post that in the show notes for people to check out, a little more in depth than what we was discussing. It's on Geeks Under Grace. Check us out also on Facebook, Geeks Under Grace and Cross Console Gamers.
You got breakfast in the morning?
Until next time, I am Groot.
No, we are Groot.
Oh, yes.